Hey VC, this is Harvey of Spin the Black Circle, and welcome to Harvey's Vinyl Haul episode number 2. I am excited, as you may have seen from the thumbnail, about this weekend's haul. I'm claiming it to be a massive score. Well, it certainly was for me, because there were so many gems and, dare I say it, grails in this pile of records that it's been a fantastic weekend of both buying and listening. So I thought I would share this additional video between Friday night vinyls. And I visited 3 record stores and 1 record fair, and there's a solitary lesson at the end at the record fair about the benefits of not giving up, about being persistent until the very last minute to get what you want. So I'll get to that if you stick around towards the end of this short video. So the first record store I visited was Segatron Records here in the West Midlands, my go-to record store. And here I picked up mostly a jazz and soul collection, mostly soul actually. Now on the jazz front, Pete Bonner, the owner, had recently picked up a massive collection of vinyl audiophile reissues. So those big labels that are prominent now: Acoustic Sounds, OJCs, Mo-Fis, UHQRs, Tone Poets, right up my street, because I'm a big jazz fan and I do selectively buy those jazz audiophile reissues. And there on the shelf was an LP that is a big LP for me actually, which is why I was so excited. And as the VMP Classic reissue of Wynton Marsalis, Black Codes from the Underground. So if you don't know Wynton Marsalis, he was and is a New York jazz trumpeter and also the director of the Lincoln Center Jazz Orchestra. So amazing musician and composer in my opinion, great arranger too. I remember seeing him at Newcastle City Hall sometime in the mid-90s, and he was absolutely fantastic with his band. And this is his signature work, Black Codes from the Underground. Probably, certainly his best studio LP, and lots of critics' opinions concur with that. 5-piece band, challenging but also really, really accessible. Clearly the musicianship is fantastic and his compositions are stellar on this. Ron Carter features on bass on one of the tracks. It's just an amazing LP, which highlights the Wynton Marsalis at the peak of his young talent. Absolutely amazing. So thrilled to get that, because VMP now, you can't even subscribe to it in the UK. So getting something like this, which was £25 on the shelf down the road, it's unbelievable. Listening to it, the sound quality is amazing too. Mastered by Ryan Smith at Sterling Sound. It's just wonderful. So that was my first dab of excitement this weekend. I was not expecting to see that on a shelf in a West Midlands UK store. Something else, the second one that I certainly haven't seen on a shelf in the UK, and that is the 1987 LP Lone Star State of Mind by Nancy Griffith. So in the UK, country, folk, well certainly country, it's not that big, and it's much derided in the UK actually, and I think that's unfortunate. I'm a big country fan, and actually ironically Nancy Griffith, there's tension here because she saw herself as a folk artist, whereas the record company MCA were pulling her by this time in a country direction. But nevertheless, as a songwriter, composer and singer, she is absolutely tremendous. She died about, I want to say, 9 years ago, unfortunately. Still quite young, I think, now late 50s, early 60s maybe. But this is one of her 2 best LPs, Lone Star State of Mind. And I've also got, bought a couple of years ago, her other album, which I'd put alongside this, The Last of the True Believers. So to have probably the best 2 Nancy Griffith LPs in my collection, not that readily available, certainly in the wild in the UK. Last of the True Believers, and then now Lone Star State of Mind. So if you like really good country songwriting in the vein of, say, Bobby Gentry, or the voice of Emmylou Harris, some Dolly Parton in there too, but certainly with folk leanings, then you really should check out Nancy Griffith, and you could do a lot worse than start with this 1987 LP, Lone Star State of Mind. So never thought I would see that. There it was, picked it up. And again, this Al Green LP, Full of Fire, was the next one in Segatron. Don't see this often in the UK. You tend to see, Let's Stay Together, Still in Love with You on the shelves, or the Bell album, but Full of Fire, 1976, stellar production. Willie Mitchell produced, the High Records backing band, full orchestration. Al Green at his best. Before he went back into his faith and started making gospel and religious LPs. So still very much a High Records LP. Now the good thing about buying High Records and Al Green albums in the UK is that they were distributed in the UK by London Records. And every pressing I've heard of a London Records, High Records distributed vinyl has been absolutely tremendous. Just really well pressed on thick vinyl from the 70s, which was supposed to be the decade where vinyl was thinning out, but not so with the London distributed versions of High Records, and this is absolutely tremendous. So Al Green's Full of Fire, don't see it often on shelves, so I had to pick that up. And this next one I have never seen on a shelf, and it's a classic soul LP, The Poet by Bobby Womack. And there it was for £12 in Segatron. Absolutely tremendous album, probably his signature work, from start to finish. Everything from his voice to his guitar work to the songs on here. And the second side is probably the best second side soul LP I've ever heard. 3 long tracks: Games, If You Think You're Lonely Now, and Where Do We Go From Here. If you haven't heard The Poet by Bobby Womack, you can certainly stream it. You really should give it a go. Difficult to find on vinyl, certainly in bricks and mortar stores. You may be able to get it more readily in the US, but yeah, I've seen loads of copies of The Poet 2, the follow-up to this, on the shelves in the UK, but I never see The Poet until yesterday, so I had to pick that up, and it sounds absolutely unbelievable. Probably the most unexpected score other than winning Marcellus is this next one. So this is the debut, and I think only LP, by the funk soul band Chameleon from the US from 1979. And the reason I picked this up is I noticed when I was flicking through the shelves, and the new in stock shelves in Segatron, that it was co-produced by Fred Wesley, formerly, of course, of James Brown's band, formerly of Parliament Funkadelic, and formerly of Fred Wesley and the Horny Horns. So I said to Pete in Segatron, just give that a spin. And lo and behold, it is a funk monster. Certainly the first 2 tracks, it's more in that Parliament Funkadelic vein than it is James Brown, but it's absolutely tremendous. And then as the LP progresses, it goes more towards melodic average weight band sort of sound, which is fine with me because I love average weight band. So you've got this kind of thumping, bass heavy, horn heavy, funk, Parliament Funkadelic sound laced with the average weight band. So surprising actually that this is such a good LP that this band didn't amount to anything, or for some reason were dropped from the Elektra label. This is an import, it was only £8, and it sounds absolutely tremendous. So unexpected score of the day, hadn't even heard of them. Again, the beauty of being in a bricks and mortar store, I can ask the owner to put it on and see if it's any good. While I'm there, if I spot something that I hadn't seen before. So yeah, great LP, Chameleon, self-titled, and I think only LP from 1979 on US import. 2 more soul LPs, but we've left Segatron Records now, and we've gone to Vinyl Destination, which is in Walsall, and there on the shelf was a UK first pressing of Funkadelic's Uncle Jam Wants You. So I'm a big Parliament Funkadelic fan, and to have this Warner Brothers UK first pressing for £18, which is a really good price. Strawberry Matrix, which is a really good Matrix pressing plant, strawberry pressing plant in the UK, and it sounds absolutely fantastic. Yes, this is the one with those 2 big tracks on it, Freak of the Week and Not Just Knee Deep. So really, you have to question how I could even call myself a Parliament Funkadelic fan, given I didn't have this LP until yesterday, because it's a Funkadelic classic. And one day soon, I promise, I will do a how to buy Parliament Funkadelic, get all my vinyl out and show you what I've got. That's probably a future video, but really excited to have picked that up. So that was Vinyl Destination, the only LP I picked up there. Then I went to the third of the 3 shops, and this was a pre-order. I'm really glad I picked it up, and it is the 7-inch extremely limited Fontaine's DC 7-inch. It's amazing to be young. So Dublin indie band, for those who don't know, probably the hottest ticket on the planet. One of the best bands in the world. Limited to 1,000 copies, and I managed to nab one. Limited to one per customer. It's already sold out everywhere. You're going to have to pay through the roof for this now, unfortunately, if you haven't already got it, because it's 1,000 globally, and it's an absolutely fantastic, anthemic, probably their most anthemic song that I've heard so far. And the B-side's great as well, Before You I Just Forget. So thrilled to have got that, given how limited it is. The new Fontaine's DC singles. That's the 3 record stores. Then something came in the mail, which I've been waiting for ages, and for some reason it's been out of stock on vinyl everywhere, which is odd because it's a new LP. It was only released 2 years ago, and that is the debut LP Messy by Olivia Dean. So it's R&B, jazz inflected, soulful UK R&B. Absolutely fantastic. She is a mega talent. Watch this space on Olivia Dean. And I've also one of my friends who attended Record Store Day for me last week when I was on holiday has picked up the EP that she released on Record Store Day. So I look forward to picking that up and adding it to this. But this is a great debut LP. She's so mature in terms of her writing and singing. She's only in her 20s. It doesn't feel like a debut LP. It's just really accomplished for a debut album. I hate to say this because I want to sound positive, but it's kind of like Adele, if Adele was any good. You know, it's not that slug, obvious pop that Adele records. It's something much more mature than that, and certainly much more soulful. So for US VCMs, if you haven't heard Olivia Dean, check out Messy, because it's an absolutely fantastic jazz inflected kind of neo soul LP. Now, then we got to the record fair, and my point about persistence. So I went today on a whim to Bilston Record Fair in the West Midlands, about 8 miles down the road. My wife was in the garden. I'd cut the grass and done my house jobs, and I thought, look, it's only a 20-minute drive. I'll go down there. So I went in, paid the £1 on the door, and there was one LP that I was particularly looking for. And I thought, this is not a hard LP to find, but I can't seem to find it anywhere on the shelves. So I searched and searched, asked loads of the stall owners. No, I don't think I've got it. So I kind of gave up on that one. I kind of gave up on it. So I'll come back to it. It's a common album, but for some reason I can't seem to find it on any shelves anywhere. Then I spotted 2 things I didn't expect to see. The first is this Vertigo spaceship of Gentle Giant's Octopus, which was on the wall for £25, in absolutely fantastic condition. So no, it's not a Vertigo swirl, but it is a Vertigo spaceship label, so it'll be from those plates. And it's absolutely tremendous. I didn't expect to see that, and I bought it down a couple of pound off to £22 for Gentle Giant's Octopus. So I thought, well, you know, that's it. If that's all I get today, I've only driven 20 minutes back in the sunshine. Great, I've got a Vertigo of arguably Gentle Giant's best LP in great condition. Fine. And so I kept looking for this elusive LP that I can't seem to find anywhere. And there, before I found it, before I get to the crux of this, there is one of my grails that I haven't been able to find anywhere, that I wasn't even hoping to get, and that is Don't Try This at Home by Billy Bragg. Original 45 RPM, double LP pressing, £35, and I look in Discogs, it's genuinely much more expensive than this, and it's in VG Plus excellent condition, and everything from the cover to the 2 LPs. So my heart skipped a beat because I wasn't even looking for that. I was just kind of looking through the indie section. There was Billy Bragg, a couple of albums. I even thought to myself, there's no way Don't Try This at Home will be in there. It's never anywhere. And there it was. And for me, yes, I know that his earlier, very politicised folk stuff is where the real substance is, but there's no lack of substance on this, much more electronic and much more pop LP. Tracks like Everywhere, which tells the story of a World War II veteran fighting alongside a US a Japanese school friend, and the racism that went along with that. You got God's Footballer, classic album about a about a religious chap, a priest who becomes a footballer. I think it's about, and then Sexuality's on here, which is in predicts the LGBTQ plus movement, and then it's probably the most melodic of Billy Bragg albums. Actually, Cindy of a Thousand Dances. For those who, a bit like Dylan, for those who assume that Billy Bragg is all about lyricism and stoicism and there's not much melody. If you haven't heard Don't Try This at Home by Billy Bragg, the melody and the beautiful soundscapes on this from start to finish, it's unbelievable. You've got Michael Stipe features on one of the tracks. You woke up the neighborhood. It's an amazing LP. And so I was thrilled to get my hands on this and not expecting it. And now the lesson comes that I'd given up on the one LP that I was even compelled to go to the record fair for, expecting to pay about £20-25 for this LP based on or certainly upwards of 15 based on what I've seen on Discogs. And I was about to walk out the door. I looked through it. LPs reduced from £7 to £5, and there it was in VG Plus condition for £5. New Gold Dream by Simple Minds. Shouldn't be a difficult album to get, but at the minute, if you try finding this in certainly all the record stores I go to, it's renowned as the best Simple Minds LP by most, and there it was. So £5 after thinking I wouldn't get it. Both the cover and the vinyl are in fantastic condition. So yeah, I was thrilled to have found that for a £5 after all of the digging, having thought I'd already done well getting the Gentle Giant and Billy Bragg LP. So an exciting and thrilling weekend of record buying, capped off with what I've been after for a while. Not rare, but for some reason doesn't seem to be on shelves. New Gold Dream by Simple Minds. And of course, now that I've got it, every time I go to a record store, I'll see 6 copies of this, right? That's how it works. But there you go, a fun weekend, and I hope everyone has had a good one. For those who celebrate Easter, certainly in the UK, enjoy the bank holiday. If you don't, thanks for joining, and have a good weekend. Please like, subscribe, comment, and tell me about your recent hauls, or point me in the direction of your recent haul video, and peace.